Mark Rogers, TV, the voice of college football, striking up a live stream on a Monday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We've got Matt Moscone from ESPN Baton Rouge and ESPN New Orleans on the line to talk some LSU football. We got to do it the rudimentary way. So I'm not even going to go into how many times and ways Matt and I have tried to connect today, but we're going to go the old phone to the mic. Any way we can get you on today, Matt, we're going to do it. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Audio quality be damned.
Absolutely. You've got the pipes to pull it off regardless. And obviously, Matt, I had thought for the last few days since we scheduled this that we were going to go a certain direction for the headliner, the most obvious at quarterback. But I would be remiss to bypass the passing of a legend in Billy Cannon, 80 years old, famous for so many things, the only Heisman Trophy winner at LSU. And I'm not going to go through all the accolades because we don't have time and people can look them up, but would like to get your thoughts on the passing of Billy Cannon.
You cannot grow up in an LSU household without deifying Billy Cannon. If there's people do the Mount Rushmore thing, they do the Pantheon thing, they do the top five. Like, there is no need when it comes to LSU football. It's Billy Cannon, then everybody else get in line. The Halloween night run, the only jersey number that is retired in LSU football, first national championship team in 1958. You just can't grow up around LSU football without hearing the name, hearing the call of his Halloween night run, seeing it. He's almost Billy Cannon's legend in around LSU is going to be immortal, and maybe more than that though. Even Mark, Billy Cannon, and I like so many had the good fortune to meet him later in his life. He was such a kind, gracious man. Like, I was thinking about this. There was probably not a day of that man's life that went by that he wasn't asked for an autograph or to take a picture with somebody. I mean, think about that. Like, there's not a day where you wake up where someone isn't asking you for an autograph or a picture. And he was just always gracious and always willing. And you just hear the stories over and over and over again of people about the time they met Billy Cannon. It's just, to say LSU lost a legend, it's an understatement. It was the legend. He's the guy in the history of LSU football.
And as just a general college football fan out there that may not necessarily be an LSU fan, if you're into the history, you've got to be into Billy Cannon. And again, the run on Halloween night, one of the iconic images on video, or more accurately film, to beat Ole Miss. Yeah, it's just legendary. And it's nice to hear in looking at his story that there were some issues there, and then there's redemption and him coming back to do some very good things late in life for a lot of people. All right, Matt Moscone joining us from ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN New Orleans. We got Matt for about another 5 minutes, so we definitely need to jump into the Joe Burrow situation because, Matt, this guy has not played meaningful football at this level. And from the LSU response that I get, they are counting the national championships that he's going to win. It's incredible.
Well, Joe Burrow may, on paper, I would even argue that he is a better prospect than the other three guys currently on campus. He is physically, I think, what they hope Miles Brennan becomes. 6'3", 210, big arm, all that stuff. At 21 years old, he's certainly a bigger, more strong-armed kid than Justin McMillan. And he's just a different style of quarterback than Lowell Narcisse, who's a great athlete but still really raw. So if you're putting them all just side by side, Burrow on paper is the best prospect. But like you said, none of these guys have done anything of consequence in their college career. But as far as counting the national championships, I mean, Mark, we got to be real that LSU's real or perceived issues extend far beyond just the quarterback position on this team. How good does Burrow make them in 2018? I don't know that it's much different than it would have been otherwise. Maybe he'll come in and have a Manzielian effect like Johnny Manziel did at A&M in 2012 when he won the Heisman, then won 11 games. But that's really hard to forecast with some of the with some of the shortcomings this roster may have against the schedule that they have to face.
Exactly. So putting that in context, because 80% of the nation, maybe more, would love to have the problems LSU has, but against the division, against the schedule, and against the standard, I'm seeing 6 and 7 win projections, and it looks pretty reasonable against that schedule and who they've got to play in the other division, i.e. Georgia and Miami on opening night, of course.
Yeah, and the odd thing is if you reverse to like 2011, LSU played a brutal schedule. They opened up against Oregon. They played out at Alabama. They played at West Virginia, which won the Orange Bowl. They had games against top 5 teams in Georgia and Arkansas. And that team ran the table up until the national championship game. It's just amazing how sort of the target for LSU seems to be lowered. Whereas you look at the schedule and there are just assumptions that LSU is going to lose those games instead of the assumptions that LSU is going to challenge that great schedule and achieve, high things this season. But I think that's also the reality, Mark. I mean, there's very much of a prove it factor here, and you've got a team that loses its top 2 receivers, its top 2 running backs, 3 starting offensive linemen, its 5th-year senior quarterback, its top 2 cornerbacks, a safety, a linebacker. It just two linebackers, 3 senior defensive linemen. They lose a ton from a team that wasn't great, and now you look at that schedule and you say, I could understand how it's a bumpy road.
Matt Moscone, ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN New Orleans. Please catch him on his show after further review, 3 to 6 Central Time. Know you're short on time, Matt. We will let you go, but definitely glad that, of course, we can dig deeper throughout the summer, but glad that I could catch you on the Joe Burrow news and especially Billy Cannon. Matt, have a great day.
Thanks, Mark. My pleasure, man.
Matt Moscone, ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN New Orleans, does an exceptional job. I caught his podcast, much of it a few days ago, one of his latest versions, and it was just entertainment to the hilt. They have a great time. They have a tremendous balance of entertainment, laughs, just ribbing each other, getting after each other, a little bit of trash talking there, but getting down to the nuts and bolts of hardcore sports talk, and it's a pleasure to listen to. Joe Burrow goes from Ohio State to LSU. He's the assumed winner of the quarterback battle that was supposed to go to Miles Brennan, most thought. And, of course, Billy Cannon, war number jersey number 20, Heisman Trophy winner of 1959, much carried by the dramatic run on Halloween night against Ole Miss to defeat the Rebels from the 89 yards that he took it in the mud, 7-3. Also won a national championship at LSU in his senior season to cap off a Sugar Bowl victory against Clemson, and just a tremendous iconic player at LSU, the only Heisman Trophy winner in the history of the school, and of course a national championship winner and a Hall of Fame inductee in 2008. And the Joe Burrow situation we will track throughout the summer, of course, here at Mark Rogers TV, the home of college football, the voice of college football. We are. Somebody took the home of college football a long time ago. We will stick with the voice of college football, and I appreciate anybody who has found the live feed. We had a myriad of issues that you don't want to hear. I sent out the notification earlier today, of course, sent that to Matt so he could jump on, and the phone kept crashing, and we had trouble with the links, as we did with Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama yesterday. So it might be a YouTube thing, might be a phone thing, an app thing. Who knows what it is. Just wanted to get some audio from Matt concerning Joe Burrow and Billy Cannon, as it is very a timely matter in both situations. And so if you were able to find us, I appreciate it. Otherwise, the notifications went out to the 4,400 subscribers, and unfortunately, that was not the right link, because we had to try again, and wanted to strike up the chat for you LSU fans and college football fans with Matt and myself to talk LSU football. But by the time we got through all the technical difficulties, Matt just had a few minutes to talk Burrow and Cannon. I will strike up the live chat. I've got a few conversations coming up later today. Graham Hall to talk Florida Gators. And I also wanted to dig into something that Navy Thomas presented to me a few days ago concerning drumming up the old Nebraska-Oklahoma rivalry. They have scheduled to play 4 times in the next roughly 10 years. And there was much conversation about making that an annual meeting online. There was conversation, not meaningful conversation from the power brokers, but fans getting together talking about it. And Navy Thomas presented that to me. I'm going to check out the live chat, see if you guys have anything. If you've seen the last few days, we talked Alabama football yesterday with Stephen M. Smith. We also talked MAC football power rankings with Steve Helwick. And that was an interesting get and conversation from Steve talking about the MAC. We rarely dive into the group of five, but I enjoy group of five football. It's just a one-man gang here, and stick to the Power Five primarily, but we will talk group of five football here definitely, because there is great crossover there. And I am a defender of group of five football, considering they get screwed like no other entity in American sports. When you think that those kids are out there busting their butt playing a high-level football, going through the August drills and throwing up their guts and the whole deal in 95-degree heat, and somebody should probably inform them. It should be the playoff selection committee. Now that we've started this playoff selection committee process in 2014, I think that committee should go out to each and every group of five camp during August, round up the players after one of the two-a-days, and have one of the playoff selection committee members take questions, but basically make the statement to them: you're busting your tails for nothing. If you go out and win every game this year 50-0, you are not going to be selected for the playoff. Look at what Central Florida did last year. They went undefeated and they couldn't make the playoff. So you're not going to make the playoff. You cannot play for any type of championship outside of your conference championship. You're the only level of football or athletics that I can think of above high school that you cannot compete for a championship, a national championship within the United States. Group of five football. You can go down to Division II or whatever they call it now, Division III, NAIA. You can win a national championship. You can't win it at Navy or Houston or Central Florida, South Florida, Boise State. You can't win a national championship. Bothers me. And that really inspires me to cut the video on my playoff system, because I have two versions. Got two versions of the playoff system. I'll check out the live chat and see if you guys have anything here. Otherwise, I will let you know what we have later today. Again, it's a Florida Football Talk at 6 o'clock with Graham Hall. I believe he's from Rivals. And then we've just got a loaded week. The schedule is loaded down, especially on Wednesday and Thursday night. So we're going to have a good time talking college football. You've probably seen or heard me say a number of times, just throw out the term rivalry week here at Mark Rogers TV. You may have seen it on Twitter if you follow me on Twitter. So I'm not seeing the live chat go out right now. I believe this is, again, another technical difficulty we have, so I'm going to post this very soon. Unfortunately, the live chat's not in session because this was the one link that I sent Matt that was private, because we felt as though maybe that was the issue, that it was a live link as opposed to a private link. So that's what I've got going right now, and I was expecting to have a live chat set up. So unfortunately, that's not the case. We can't talk college football this afternoon, at least not with this particular link. So hope you enjoyed the conversation with Matt Moscone from ESPN Radio. And we will be back later today. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe three times, but definitely once with Graham Hall talking Florida football. So we will see all of you guys very soon.